Hi all, welcome to the channel. Today we will be continuing with indoor environmental quality category, and this is lecture 2 under this category. Today we will be covering 3 credits. So without any further delay, let's move on to the presentation. We have covered 2 prerequisites and 1 credit in this category. Now let's move on to the other credits. The credit is low emitting material and it can get up to 3 points. The intent is to reduce concentration of chemical contaminants that can damage air quality, human health, productivity and the environment. Now let's look on to the requirements. This credit includes requirements for product manufacturing as well as project teams. It covers volatile organic compounds, VOC emission in the interior air, and the VOC content of material as well as the testing method by which indoor VOC emissions are determined. Now let's move on to option 1, which is product category calculation. Achieve the threshold level of compliance with emission and content standards for the number of product categories. Different materials must meet different requirements to be considered compliant for this credit. The building interior and exterior are organized in 7 categories, which can be seen here. So under the category they have 7, and each with different threshold of compliance, which is given here, and achieve this threshold level of compliance with emission and content standards for the number of products category. So this table shows the threshold of compliance with emission and content standards for 7 categories of material. Let's look on to one category. The first one, interior paints and coating applied on site. The threshold is at least 90% by volume for emission, 100% for VOC content. So emission and content requirement says general emission evaluation for paints and coating applied to walls, floors and ceilings. VOC content requirements for wet applied product. So you need to read all this. You can pause and read out. These tables are not required for your LEED Green Associate exam, but I am explaining all this because you need to know the concept and how these marks are allocated. Here this is a table showing points for number of complaint categories of product. So in each sector, in each complaint category, the points allocated are different. So you can pause and read out. So option 2 is budget calculation method. If some products in a category do not meet the criteria, project team may use the budget calculation method. So the calculation I will show on the next slide. So here this table shows the point for percentage compliance under budget calculation method. So achieve the threshold levels of compliance with emissions and content standards for the number of product category. So this is how the point allocated for the percentage of total. In budget calculation method, the budget method organizes the building interior into 5 assemblies: 1 flooring, then ceiling, walls, thermal and acoustic insulation, and finally furniture. Well, this is the equation for total percentage compliance. Here there are 2 equations provided, one without furniture and other is with furniture. Let's look on to the equation. So the equation is total percentage compliance for projects without furniture is equal to percentage compliant walls plus percentage compliant ceilings plus percentage compliant flooring plus percentage compliant insulation, all divided by 4. And for total percentage compliant for projects with furniture equal to percentage compliant wall plus percentage compliant ceiling plus percentage compliant flooring plus percentage compliant insulation plus percentage compliant insulation. So it is plus or minus percentage compliant furniture all divided by 5, since it's 5 parameters, so all divided by 5. So this equation shows the system percentage compliant. How to find the assemblies percentage compliant? So there are total 5 assemblies as I mentioned. So flooring, wall, ceiling, insulation percentage compliant can be found by this equation. As I mentioned, this equation is not required for your LEED Green Associate exam. You need to only clear all the concept. Don't afraid of all this equation, just understand these all things are happening in LEED. Again, this is the furniture system complaint using ANSI BIFMA evaluation. So the equation for percentage complaint for furniture equals, yeah, you can pause and read out. Next credit is construction indoor air quality management plan and can only get 1 point. So in the previous credit we have seen how the chemical contaminants damage air quality, human health, productivity and the environment. But in this particular credit it actually covers certain stage of a building, especially the construction and renovation stage. Now let's look on to the intent. So the intent is to promote the well-being of construction workers and building occupants by minimizing indoor air quality problems associated with construction and renovation. Requirements are develop and implement an indoor air quality management plan for the construction and pre-occupancy phases of the building, and during construction meet or exceed all applicable recommended control measures of the sheet metal and air conditioning National Contractors Association indoor air quality guidelines for occupied building under construction. Then protect absorptive materials stored in on-site and installed from moisture damage. Do not operate permanently installed air handling equipment during construction unless filtration media with a minimum efficiency reporting value of 8 as determined by ASHRAE 52.2 2007. Then prohibit the use of tobacco products inside the building and within the 25 feet, that is 8 meter of the building entrance during construction. So it is same as for the occupancy time also, post occupancy time also. Next credit under this category indoor environmental quality is indoor air quality assessment, and it can get up to 2 points. And the intent is to establish better quality indoor air in the building after construction and during occupancy. So the construction stage and the renovation stage were explained in the previous credit, and this stage or this credit is associated with after construction and during occupancy. Well, there are two ways for achieving this credit. We need to select one from that. This option cannot be combined. So this option or this requirement have to be implemented after the construction and the building has been completely cleaned. All works has to be done, like interior finishes such as millwork, door, paint, carpet, acoustic tiles, and movable furnishings, example workstation, partition, everything must be installed, and major VOC punch list item must be finished. So I have simplified this option 1 for you. There are two parts. Part 1 is during occupancy. I'm sorry, before occupancy, and part 2 is during occupancy. So if we follow part 1, install new filtration media and perform a building flush out by supplying a total air volume of 14,000 cubic feet of outdoor air per square foot. And if we are following part 2 during occupancy period, The space may be occupied only after the delivery of a minimum of 3,500 cubic feet of outdoor air per square foot. During each day of the flush-out period, ventilation must begin at least 3 hours before occupancy and continue during occupancy. These conditions must be maintained until a total of 14,000 cubic feet per square foot of outdoor air has been delivered to the space. In both part 1 and part 2, we have to maintain some criteria like temperature, humidity, etc. So in both situation, the internal temperature should be 16 Fahrenheit, that is 15 degrees Celsius, and no higher than 80 degree Fahrenheit, that is 27 degrees Celsius, and relative humidity not higher than 60%. So option 2 is air testing, and here you can get 2 points for this. After construction ends and before occupancy, but under ventilation conditions, typically for occupancy, we need to conduct a baseline indoor air quality testing using protocols consistent with the method listed in the table. I will show the table for you, and it's for all the occupied spaces. And we need to use the current version of ASTM standards method, EPA compendium methods, or ISO methods as indicated. Laboratories that conduct the test for chemical analysis of formaldehyde and volatile organic compounds must be accredited under ISO or IEC 170, ISO bar IE7 17025 for the test method they use. And for retail projects, they must conduct the testing within the 40 days of occupancy. And I will explain the table. So this is the table showing the maximum concentration level by contaminant and testing method. So on the very left side, you can see the contaminants. So it includes particulates, ozone, carbon monoxide, VOC, and formaldehyde on the next page. And yeah, we have like columns for maximum concentration allowed, and ASTM and US EPA methods suggested, and ISO method suggested. Again, this is the concentration of the contaminants and the standards. So we need to conduct all the measurements before occupancy, but during normal occupied hours with the building ventilation system started at the normal daily start time and operated at the minimum outdoor airflow rate for the occupied mode throughout the test. For each sampling points where the concentration exceeds the limit, take corrective actions and retest for the non-compliant contaminants at the same sampling point, and repeat until all requirements are met. Well, in today's lecture, we have actually covered 3 credits under this category, indoor air quality. So tomorrow we will cover the remaining credits. I hope you understood every credit that I have explained today and in the previous videos. If you guys have any doubts related to this, can comment on the comment box below. So thank you.